Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Ever stop and think about how, like, a really vivid idea, just a spark, can grow into something huge, something real you can almost touch that pulls people in?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, today, that's what we're exploring. We're taking a deep dive into this really expanding universe called the Oscarith.
We're looking into Oscarith to kind of unpack how it went so fast, from just a creative thought to this whole dynamic thing, storytelling, its own martial art, a real community building up around it.
It's a fascinating journey.
It really is. A great example of a passion project, really, taking flight.
And to help us figure this out, we've got some interesting material. We're looking at parts of the home section from their website, the official Oscarith site, and also this piece called Oscarith, a legacy forged in discipline.
Mm-hmm. Good sources.
Yeah, they give us a pretty unique look at how personal vision turns into something structured, something, bigger. So let's jump in.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's unpack this start. It begins as a role-playing idea. August 2024, right? Stemming from a book the founder was writing.
Yeah, that's the origin story we have, just an idea.
But then it grows really quickly into this bigger vision story. Martial arts, personal growth, all kind of converging.
And importantly, it says when it was first shared with friends, like as a game, the response was powerful. That word stands out.
Powerful. Okay, so not just, oh, that's neat.
Right. Seems like it really resonated, which probably explains the speed afterward.
Yeah, the speed.
Okay.
Copyright sent off by April 14th, 2025. Then Oscarith LLC, the actual company, is created July 13th, 2025.
Less than a year from idea to LLC.
That's incredibly fast. I mean, way faster than just a hobby project usually goes. What does that tell you? That, formalizing it so quickly?
Well, it strongly suggests a founder who isn't just creative, but also has a real entrepreneurial sense.
Yeah.
That powerful response wasn't just nice feedback.
It was a signal.
Exactly. It likely signaled, potential, maybe even commercial viability. So locking down the IP, setting up the legal structure, it shows they understood right away that this thing needed a solid foundation if it was going to become the universe they were imagining.
Okay, so it wasn't just, let's see where this goes.
Yeah.
It was, this is going somewhere, let's build the framework now.
Precisely. A clear vision meeting decisive action right from the get-go. And that foundation allowed them to then build out the unique world.
Right, the mythos. And this is where it gets really interesting. I think they're pulling from big inspirations, Star Wars, obviously, superheroes, and Kemet, which is ancient Egypt.
A potent mix.
Yeah, but they're not just rehashing, they're twisting it. So instead of lightsabers, you get saw blades.
Mm-hmm.
And the source says this isn't just a name change. It's about a new mythos for a new age. That sounds significant, like maybe tied to inner light or the sun, something deeper, and its own martial principles.
You've nailed it. That's the core of building a distinct identity, isn't it? Finding your own voice within, a landscape of existing ideas, not just copying them.
Yeah.
And the founder's own journey seems key here. They trained in light sword arts, but then felt this call, this need to teach their own way.
Their own discipline.
Exactly. And they describe it as rooted in principles of balance, clarity, and challenge. That's very deliberate language. It's meant to be different.
It really underlines that it's not just a knockoff. The sources say, yeah, there are echoes of a galaxy far, far away, sure. But then it proudly states, its own terms, own codes my own way.
That's a strong statement of intent.
So how do you think those principles, balance, clarity, challenge, how might they actually make it different in practice compared to, say, Jedi or Sith techniques?
Well, without seeing it in action, we can infer. Balance suggests maybe physical and mental equilibrium, maybe even integrating opposing forces within oneself. Clarity points towards focus, clear intention, maybe mental discipline being just as important as the physical moves.
Makes sense.
And challenge. That sounds like a philosophy of growth, pushing limits, learning through adversity. It suggests it's less about just mimicking fight scenes and more about embodying the whole philosophy, living the mythos.
Embodying it. I like that. That really sets it apart.
And think about the draw for people wanting to learn the chance of training with a guardian of the Verdant Star. That's exciting.
Yeah, that's great branding. It pulls you right into their world.
Right.
And it's not just the martial art. They're building this whole ecosystem, as you said. The sources call it a gathering place for fandoms, moving beyond just being like a book or a store.
Yes. And the way they're doing that is quite strategic. It's multi-platform.
How so? What are they actually doing to create this gathering place?
Okay, so look at their media presence. They've got a Podbean channel, right? Deep Dive in the Ether with Jed Karen Echo, described as fandom talk at its best.
Okay, so reaching out to podcast listeners, fandom communities.
Exactly, meeting people where they are, building bridges. It's not just putting out Oscar Eats stuff, it's engaging with broader fandom culture.
And then there's the YouTube channel at the Cosmic Portal Salvage Yard. It's got a ton of shows listed.
A lot of shows.
Yeah. There's the Portal, which sounds like their main thing, maybe. But then stuff like the DC Reviewer, the Captain and the Klingon, Mandos of the Priory, even Matriarchs of Fandom.
See, that's clever. They're leveraging existing huge fandoms, DC, Star Trek, Star Wars, to draw people in. It's cross-pollination.
Making their channel a destination, even if you don't know Oscar Eats yet.
Precisely. And then Facebook acts as the hub, the announcement board, the latest news and updates, all the latest vids. It connects all the pieces.
So this whole network of content.
Network, yeah. And it mentions the Forge is coming soon, and the Cosmic Portal is the hand hub of information. So they're building infrastructure, too. Central places to find everything.
It's a really comprehensive approach to building not just content, but a community around the mythos.
That's the key word. Community. They're fostering connection across many different points of entry.
And what I find really compelling behind all this, world building and platform strategy is the personal story, the founder's own growth.
Absolutely. It's woven throughout the narrative we have.
Yeah, moving from student to aspiring teacher in martial arts and admitting there were moments of doubt, of uncertainty. That feels very real, very human.
It does. And it highlights something important. That mastery, whether it's martial arts or building something like this, often involves overcoming your own internal stuff, not just external challenges.
Right.
And the sources credit these incredible guides. Sifu Edward Armstrong and Sifu Ederacia Armstrong, they weren't just instructors, they were mentors.
Helping align vision with action, it says. Shaping growth, awakening discipline.
Yeah.
Giving courage.
That courage part feels crucial. Stepping up to teach your own way, especially when inspired by giants like Star Wars, takes guts. Mentorship clearly played a huge role.
And out of that mentorship, that struggle maybe, came this piece of wisdom they share. The greatest leap is not through fear, but into it.
Wow. That's powerful, isn't it? It reframes fear not as something to avoid, but something to engage with, to move through.
Yeah, and that led to the personal motto, FER.
Face everything and rise.
Face everything and rise. That's quite a mantra.
It is. And you can see how that philosophy, resilience, growth through challenge probably infuses the whole Oscar Eats project. It connects the personal journey directly to the brand ethos, you could say.
So the universe they're building reflects that core idea.
It seems deeply embedded. The discipline, the challenge principle in the martial art, the very act of creating something new. It all ties back to facing things and rising.
And this personal journey, it culminates in a very clear goal. Opening a dojo.
Yes. The name's chosen, the path is clear, just waiting for the right moment, the door to open, as they put it.
It really brings it full circle, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How that initial spark, guided by discipline, mentorship, and this rise above fear idea, leads to such a concrete, ambitious goal, building a physical space for this community and discipline.
It's a very compelling arc. Vision, action, personal growth, and strategic building all coming together. It shows how passion, when it's forged in discipline, can create something really substantial.
Okay, so that brings us towards the end of our deep dive into Oscar Eats for today. What we've really seen is, well, it's a testament, isn't it, to how one imaginative spark, when you add that fuel of passion and discipline, can genuinely grow into a book, a whole martial art form, a thriving community, potentially a real legacy.
It really is a vivid picture of creative vision turning into real sustained action. They're building this whole universe seemingly piece by piece, one saw blade at a time, one disciplined step forward.
So as we wrap up, think about this story of Oscar Eats. Born from that spark, shaped by discipline, by facing challenges head on. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What personal project, what challenge, maybe even what fear in your own life is waiting for you to apply that same idea? To face everything and rise. What soul blade are you ready to forge?